for 25 years. Your home for Minnesota Twins baseball.
Some early morning showers have moved out of downtown Minneapolis, much to the delight of another near-capacity crowd at Target Field, on hand to watch the Twins close out their series with Cleveland. Welcome to Twins baseball on Fox Sports North. Tim, the golden rule in real estate is location, location, location. The same holds true for pitching in Major League Baseball, and lately being on target has been an issue for Scott Diamond.
Well, it has. When Scott Diamond came up last year, he threw strikes, he put the ball over the plate, and he put the ball in play. Sometimes pitchers have a tendency to start to get a little bit too fine, start to nibble a little bit too much. When you do that, you are throwing to these two spots right here, and these two spots are very small. You do not have much of a margin for error, hence maybe the fact that Scott Diamond's walks are up. What can he do? Expand his zone just a little bit. It's still low over the plate, throw strikes right here. Once you establish the middle part of this plate, you can go ahead and then work out. So for Chris Herman today, sit right down the middle and say, give it to me right here, baby. And once you do, then you can go ahead and expand the strike zone. So for Scott Diamond, cut down on the walks, trust your stuff, go ahead and throw it over the plate.
Can the Twins complete a series sweep? Dick Bramer and Tom Kelly return with the main event next. It's the series finale, the Twins and Tribe from Target Field.
On Fox Sports North is presented by Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. And by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards.
For the second time this year, the Twins hope to extend a winning streak to 5 games. For the second time this year, they hope to complete a 3-game sweep. And welcome to Target Field. Dick Raymer, Tom Kelly filling in for Bert Blyleven. The Twins have won the first 2 games of this Cleveland Indians series. Joe Mauer, as he was in the first half for the Twins, so far the best player for the Twins in the second half.
Big RBI, big throw out at second base. Joe's showing why he's an all-star player, and he can certainly get it done. You can't hand the ball to the shortstop any better than Joe just did.
And the big base hit to center field that drove in the eventual game-winning run in the 8th inning on Friday. A big base hit, a couple of them actually in yesterday's game. He's been all over the field. The one guy who didn't get any all-star break at all is playing like an all-star again in the second half. The Twins with a pair of 3-2 wins over Cleveland. And the biggest issue for the Cleveland Indians has been their defense.
Oh, don't start me on that, Richard. It's just been awful to watch. I'm sure Terry Francona and the coaching staff is very, very upset with what's going on out there with their ball club. And they certainly are sort of in contention, but if they're going to continue to play defense like this, they got no chance.
Some costly mistakes for the Cleveland Indians. A missed double play ball that led to the third and deciding run for the Twins in last night's game. So the Twins do have a chance to complete a 3-game sweep over the Cleveland Indians and head out on a West Coast road trip on a high note. Scott Diamond makes the start for the Twins as they hope to get that 3-game sweep.
Breathe in leather and oil. Balance the bet in anticipation.
Tip my hat to 39,000 streaming fans. 39,000 streaming fans.
Breaking ball got him.
I was born to do this, to take the field when needed most.
Now you got Glenn Perkins coming in to finish this ball game out.
Got him.
To bid hello and say goodbye.
Slider got him.
And shake hands under the lights.
Perkins with a 1-2-3-9.
To hold this baseball in my hand. In my hand.
Some things are not a coincidence.
Some things were meant to be from the beginning.
And I was
meant to be a ball player.
Got him.
Twins baseball starts now.
On Fox Sports North.
We watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land?
Every once in a while it happens. The national anthem, or at least parts of it, get broadcast on a telecast. That takes me back to my childhood when that was standard operating procedure. You know, the anthem was on. That was one of the first things you heard during a Twins telecast, and then you played baseball. And so that's what we'll do here today. Nice ensemble from the future farmers of America, Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota, North and South Dakota represented. Terry Francona would love to see his Cleveland Indian Ball Club, a team that's been very streaky this year, start playing better baseball because they have not distinguished themselves coming out of the break. The Menards batting order. Drew Stubbs in the leadoff spot. Then as Drupal Cabrera, Jason Kipnis, an all-star, hitting third. Hit the big two-run home run for the Indians last night. Nick Swisher, Carlos Santana, Mark Reynolds, and Michael Brantley, Ryan Rayburn, and Mike Aviles, and they'll all be lined up to face left-hander Scott Diamond.
Yeah, we need Scotty to pitch into the game a little bit more, Dick. We all know he's been struggling some. Last outing was a touch better, but still not what we're, I believe, looking for. Needs to get into the 6th, 7th inning. We've been using 4 pitchers a night. Just can't continue that way, or we're going to run into the same problem we had the first half of the season. So Scotty can get himself going and get into the 6th, 7th inning or so and give that try to give the bullpen a little bit of a break.
Northland Ford defense for the Minnesota Twins. Cleve Thomas is in left. Aaron Hicks is in center. Ryan Doman in right. Blue, Florimone, Dozier, Morneau, the infielders. Chris Herman getting the start behind the plate. Joe Mauer, the designated hitter. Regarding Diamond, his last start against the Yankees, and he appeared to be on his way toward pitching a deeper into the ball game to see the weather condition.
Absolutely.
But the weather wasn't so good in New York on that Friday night. And rain stopped the game after 3 1/3 innings, and the Twins, out of the rain delay, decided to go to the bullpen.
Yeah, I know it's unfortunate, but again, that's past history and water under the bridge, so to say. And I sort of like the idea of Chris Herman getting a crack at Diamond and see if maybe he can get him going a little bit better. We'll see.
First pitch fastball over the inside corner, strike 1. Stubbs, Cabrera, and Kipnis in the Cleveland first. Stubbs hit 9th here the other night, took over in the right field. He's the center fielder in place of Michael Bourne today, up high 1-1.
I think the Indians, like some other teams as well, still searching for the right leadoff guy, trying to find the right combination. And I think the Indians are in that boat. I don't think, they're totally sold on Michael Bourne, but and Drew Stubbs, certainly he doesn't really look like the prototypical leadoff hitter, but again, he started the game off on the right note here.
Stubbs with a base hit. Thomas with a quick retrieve to hold Stubbs to a single. And the Indians get their leadoff man aboard. Twins with their 29th outfield assist in the ballgame last night. And we might see over the final months of the season teams less apt to run on the Twins outfielders. Thomas, of course, a center fielder by trade. Asdrubal Cabrera, the batter. And a foul back, 1 strike.
Coming up swinging here tonight, this afternoon so far. Stubbs got after the first good one he saw, and now Cabrera got after the first good pitch he saw. So it looks like, I thought the last few at-bats the Indians had last night against Perkins were really quality at-bats, and Glenn got the job done. But again, I thought the guys were really bearing down up there, and so it looks like the Indians might have had a little get-together with themselves and see if they can tune it up a notch, because if they don't turn it up here a little bit, their Twins should probably sweep them out the door. But we'll see what happens today. Hopefully Scotty Diamond can throw them strikes, keep them off balance, give the team a chance to win.
1 strike to Cabrera. A couple of missed opportunities for the Indians, a couple of tough 1-run losses, while the Tigers have lost a couple of 1-run ball games. So if this series had gone the other way, Terry Francona's team would be in first place. But as it is, they're still stuck a game and a half behind the Tigers.
It's their own fault, that's for sure. Anybody else to blame but themselves.
1-1 to Cabrera. Flip foul, out of play, 1-2. It has been a streaky year for the Indians. They've had two and a half week periods where they just really struggle, and they look like they're a last place ball club. And then they've had periods of almost as equal length where they look like they're one of the best teams in the American League.
Dick, and you're absolutely right, and I think there's a whole bunch of teams are in that same boat. We've had our share of that, and Detroit had their share of that for a couple of weeks this year already. They haven't gotten off to the greatest start the second half either. So again, there's plenty of teams I think can probably echo the same sentiments. They run in so streaky, and I think it all has to do with pitching, starting pitching especially. And if you show some weaknesses here or there with your defense or bullpen or just whatever, and you're going to have a chance or an opportunity to lose 8 out of 10, and before you turn around, you drop 6-7 games in the standings. So I think there's been a lot of that going on in Major League Baseball, especially in the Central Division of the American League.
1-2, and the ball driven to right. Doman over a few steps, makes the catch 1 away. Well, you talk about starting pitching in general, and the Twins enjoying one of their better stretches as of late. Over the last 5 games, counting the 2-0 loss Friday night in New York, the Twins have allowed just 11 runs over those 5 games, and Ron Gardenhire, Rick Anderson will take that all day long.
That's true, and that's all positive stuff and all good stuff, and we weren't facing the 27 Yankees there either.
No,
things of that nature. But again, the idea is to get our pitchers, pitching 7 innings. And, at least 6 2/3, 7 1/3, 7 2/3, something like that. Because you just can't do it. You can't use 4 guys a night. It's not going to work. It's impossible. And we proved that, and other teams have as well. You've proven that the first half of the season when, about 2 weeks left, 3 weeks left of the first half, our bullpen sort of exploded some and, ended up switching everybody around and things like that. So that's just from overuse and too much abuse. So it's imperative that the starters pitch into the game.
Foul back, 2 strikes. This game will start with Twins manager Ron Gardenhire apparently in the clubhouse. He's here in uniform, was going to try to be in the dugout, but Gardy's been set back with a stomach virus, maybe some food poisoning. Terry Steinbach finished the game last night as the bench coach. He inherits the role as acting manager, and he'll start the game in a similar capacity. 2 strikes to Kipnis. Inside.
That's moving your feet. It's a nice pitch by Scotty. Get the ball down and in, and get the hitter back off the plate a little bit, and just trying to tell the opposing team that's my part of the plate, and don't be leaning out over. So Real nice pitch.
1-2. Stubbs pretty fleet of foot, and he's got 10 steals and 10 tries.
Scotty's doing a good job of holding the runner. He's used the slide step. He almost had a little bit of a quick pitch there about 2 pitches ago. But he's you know, a good left-hander, holds the runners.
Check swing, a pitch in the dirt, smothered by Herman. 2-2.
We just touched on a little bit about Herman getting an opportunity to catch, and you know, we all talked about, well, when's Bernier going to play? When's, you know, Colabello and Herman, and give some kind of spark to the team. And I think this is a real perfect setup for Herman.
There we go. Stubbs goes, pitch foul back.
For Chris to get back there. You know, whether depends how you view Diamond and how he's doing, and whether he needs a change and somebody different catch and see what happens. So, but this is a real good opportunity for Chris to maybe get in a position where if Diamond can pitch real well today, maybe he can, you know, the Junior Ortiz thing we did a few years, you know, many years ago with Scotty Erickson.
Stubbs stays put. The ball driven to left. Retreating is Thomas. 2 away. Last night, Kipnis hit a ball to left field and carried over the wall to account for the 2 Cleveland runs. This one didn't have as much carry. 2 down. That'll bring up the designated hitter, Nick Swisher. Diamond in his last start gave up just the 1 hit, 3 1/3 innings. He issued 3 walks while he was out there, but 2 of those were to Robinson Cano. And given what Cano had done to the Twins, maybe that was the best thing that Scott Diamond did in his start against the Yankees.
Well, Cano is one of them fellas that he's certainly been on fire and doing really well, but you know, if you really dissect the Yankee lineup, he's the guy that can really hurt you. Not that there's a few others in the lineup that are okay hitters, but you know, if you walk a guy, that'd be a good guy to walk. That's for sure.
1 strike to Nick Swisher, former Yankee. Busted bat. Dozier there, inning over. A leadoff single does no damage. A scoreless first for Scott Diamond. Sellout like we had last night, but still a crowd, I would think, in excess of 30,000 fans.
Good crowd.
Terry Steinbach doing the managing for the Twins in the absence of Ron Gardenhire. And the batting order by Menards for your Minnesota Twins: Brian Dozier, Chris Herman, Joe Mauer, the designated hitter, Justin Morneau, Ryan Doman, Trevor Plouffe, Clete Thomas, Aaron Hicks, and Pedro Florimon, all lined up to face the guy who
you'd have to say is the ace of the Cleveland Indians staff, right-hander Justin Masterson.
Had 10 wins first half of the season, 7 losses, under 4 ERA. Pretty good, giving his team a chance to win. Few too many walks in my mind, Dick, but again, this guy's pretty talented. He can sink it and slide it as good as anybody.
Masterson in his major league career has had a tough time against left-handed batters, and the Twins going as left-handed as they possibly can given the roster. 3 bench players, Carroll, Bernier, and Colabello, are all right-handed batters.
He's got that 3/4 arm delivery, so a little bit tougher on the right-handers compared to the lefties.
And a fastball on the outside corner.
91, right on the outside part of the plate. Brian took a good look at it, but that was nasty.
1 strike. And missing inside. Yeah, you'll see a fastball that really tails into right-handed batters, a slider that has improved over the years.
Yeah, he throws a 4-seam fastball as well as a 2-seamer. I think we saw that on the second pitch was the 2-seamer. As you astutely pointed out, that ball ran right in on Dozier big time. So it was a good thing he didn't swing it that way.
Lefties hitting .257 against Masterson. Righties 177. Softly hit towards the shortstop Cabrera, quickly to first, 1 away.
Let's give some credit where it's due. That was a very good play by Cabrera, and to start the game. And as a manager, you always hope your players are ready, especially the first inning. And it was a real fine play by Cabrera to start it off.
Northland 4 defense for the Indians. Brantley, Stubbs, and Rayburn across the outfield. Avila's getting third base. Cabrera, Gipnis up the middle. Mark Reynolds at first and Santana behind the plate. Chris Herman in the lineup as the catcher and moved into the second spot. The Twins have tried to find somebody to hit second. Trevor Plouffe given that assignment in the first 2 games, and Trevor moved down after striking out 4 times yesterday.
That didn't work out so well.
Herman takes outside. It's 1-1.
I feel bad as a manager. You know, you think about it, and you know, I'm sure Gardy thought about it over the break a little bit. And now maybe we'll give Trevor a shot in there, see what happens. And the young man turns around and punches out 4 times. Oh boy.
2-1 to Herman. And a strike call. Herman, in essence, the 3rd catcher on the roster with Mauer and Doman. And now Herman, but Doman has become more of an outfielder since the roster change. Foul back 2-2.
Today he's the #1 catcher.
That's right. That's true, isn't it? You're not the backup catcher if you're in the starting lineup.
I used to feel that way about your starting pitcher. You know, sometimes media puts numbers on a guy. Well, he's a 1, he's a 2. But whoever's out there is their #1. He's our #1.
Full count to Herman. Mauer on deck.
That was a bad slider there that got away from Masterson. Just sort of floated out there.
Foul back again.
Good swing.
And Herman, in just a handful of at-bats, has had an impact for the Twins. 13 at-bats, a double, a home run, 4 runs batted in, a couple of walks, and only 1 strikeout.
Get it in place, something good can happen.
Another 3-2. And another foul.
Boy.
Herman, a catcher by trade, but he's tried to be a more versatile player, spend some time in the outfield, and that might come in handy here during this stint with the Twins.
Yeah, he can go out there if you need him. I don't know if I want to make a living out there, but he certainly is capable.
High fly. Stubbs retreats, makes the catch. Long at bat for Herman.
Good at that.
2 down. Mauer coming to the plate. Tonight's Cold Hard Fact brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. The Indians have gifted some runs to the Twins, and it's cost them 2 ball games.
2 for sure, and 2 they can't get back. And once you play them and you give them away, you just can't get them back. You have to hope it evens out somewhere along the line where somebody gives you a game or 2 along the way. But again, get 2 pretty good pitching performances and end up losing. That's got to hurt some.
Strike one to Mauer. You saw on the pregame show how torrid an 8-game hitting streak Mauer is on. The average up to 323. Slapped foul over by the Cleveland dugout.
Masterson got in on there a little bit on that one.
Mauer second in the league in hitting at 323. He's a tick above David Ortiz and Mike Trout, well behind the leader Miguel Cabrera at 360.
Wow.
1 and 2.
You get to see Santana sit way inside, and Masterson really misfired that one. I mean, that was up and away, not even close. That can happen.
Mauer last year led the major leagues in on-base percentage. He's second in the league this year to Cabrera. And Masterson with a 97-mile-per-hour four-seam fastball strikes him out. And he's got a 1-2-3 inning.
We head to the second inning. Well, Chris Herman is playing in his first game since he was called up last week, and he says he really wasn't expecting to be called up, and that makes him all the more excited to be here. This is, of course, his second stint with the Twins this year, and he told me, this time around, I really want to be a good teammate, somebody who can get this team going and really have a lot of fun. He says he's willing to play wherever he can help out, whether that is catching or playing in the outfield, and guys, he's hoping that versatility will really allow him to stay here a while.
Well, thank you, Jamie. As we were discussing that, I guess, in the last half inning, how Herman has tried to become more versatile, spend some time in the outfield. And given the current state of affairs with the Twins, that's only going to help where they're at.
Yeah, versatility, especially kind of depends on the kind of player you are. You're sort of maybe on the borderline being a big leaguer, AAA guy, and you know, you might be the 27th, 28th guy on a 25-man roster type thing, and you have to do different things to help enhance your value to the manager and to the organization. So give Chris some credit for learning how to play the outfield and also a catcher, and you know, it just increases his value in stock. So and if it doesn't work out for the Twins, then maybe some other team would be interested in his services. So you never know just exactly, you know, who's watching and who's interested in you and needs your services. So the more positions you can play, obviously the more value you should have at this level.
1 and 2 to Santana. He'll be followed by Mark Reynolds and Michael Brantley. Roller to short, right to Florimone. Chest high throw to Morneau, 1 away. That'll bring up Mark Reynolds. When you join the Twins season ticket family this year, you'll be hitting a sweet spot. Purchase any of the Twins season ticket packages and receive 10% off food, beverage, and merchandise bought at Target Field. Season ticket prices are also up to 20% cheaper than single game purchases. Call 800-33-TWINS or go to twinsbaseball.com. Learn about the benefits of being in the Twins season ticket family. One down in the second. That'll bring up Mark Reynolds. Reynolds making his second straight start.
Terry Francona probably looking for some kind of punch in the lineup, giving Reynolds a shot at it here.
1-1. The game has changed an awful lot, Tom, since you were managing in the big league dugout. There's not a team in baseball this year that's played 100 games. Yet in the American League alone, there are 9 hitters who have already struck out 100 or more times.
It's hard to even fathom it happened, but you know, this fella here, he's a little bit of a journeyman guy. He's been around, and you know, he can go over to third, he can go over to first, but he definitely looks like I don't know how you can't have too many of these fellas in your lineup. That's what the problem is, because you're not getting enough balls in play, and so thus you don't get enough men on base, and you know, less chance to score if you don't get on. So, but yes, he can hit it over the fence if he squares it up, but there's an awful lot of strikeouts there, and like you pointed out, day one here Friday, you know, the Indians are on pace to strike out, you know, what, almost 1,000 times this year. That's a lot of Ks.
Full count.
Excuse me, not getting on base and thus having less opportunity to score.
Well, it came to focus in Friday night's game when in the 7th and 8th inning the Indians didn't even put a ball in play.
Right.
Reynolds draws a walk here.
It's really hard to do.
And there's a runner aboard with
Wow.
1 out. But just to fill in the blanks here, the 9 hitters in the American League who have already struck out 100 or more times. We'll go from the bottom of the list to the top. Jared Saltalamacchia, J.P. Arancibia, Mark Trumbo, Colby Rasmus, Adam Dunn, Mark Reynolds, Chris Davis, Mark Napoli, and Chris Carter. Michael Brantley will hit for the Indians with a man aboard and 1 out. And Brantley takes strike 1.
Reynolds is not really a threat to run, and you know, the Indians for me really don't have except for Bourne, and we didn't see him, you know, run at all this series. He's not even playing today. So again, it's I'm not saying they're a one-dimensional team, but it looks to be a lot of, you know, one base at a time, and if they hit it over the fence, it's, you know, well, there you go. But again, not much hitting and running. You're going to be not much stealing, and it's hard to steal if you strike out. So it's
Diamond misses again, 2-1.
That's why when they had that Twitter vote yesterday or whatever that was, you know, it's how many people think the Indians can overtake the Tigers. I just can't see it. No. Strange things can happen, but I could be really wrong, but I just don't see it.
2-1. You'll have a chance to vote again today. This one head up the middle. And everybody's safe. Florimon went to the bag. Dozier had crossed the bag. Florimon thought he could get the lead runner, but Reynolds beat him to second base.
Yeah, I give Reynolds a lot of credit for hustling down there and beating the play. And, you know, both players are going for the baseball here because they don't want it to go through, and thus nobody was able to cover second. But Dozier's momentum carried him right past. And Fleury, maybe if he had to do over again, he might have tried to throw that ball to first. It's one of those funny plays that young people learn from.
Ryan Rayburn, the batter, with the Indians threatening. A couple of singles and a walk early against Diamond, and he throws one down the middle, strike 1. Diamond with 10 ground ball double plays induced on the season. Ooh, cracked to left. And Reynolds will be held at third, and they're loaded up with 1 out. Speaking of the AT&T Twitter poll, we'll give you the opportunity to vote here in the second inning. Can Cleveland overtake the Tigers in the Central? And you can vote via Twitter using the hashtags on the screen. Indians beefed up their payroll a little bit in the offseason. Signed Swisher, signed Bourne.
There's Aviles, Dick, who has been known more for his bat than his glove over the years and can generate some offense.
Ball one. Diamond in a little bit of difficulty here. First 8 plate appearances have resulted in 3 singles and a walk.
Here we go. Pitch away. Let's go. Come on now.
I think they scored that one a fielder's choice. I don't know.
Just 2 hits, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was thinking the same thing, though. I started to write hit down, and I don't think they gave him a hit.
Strike called, 1-1.
But I think that's a hit, no? Should be a hit. We're not going to worry about that now. We need 6-4-3 ball, which is way more important.
Flared to right. Domet with the catch. Reynolds tagging. Domet's throw will be cut off by Morneau. It's 1-0 Cleveland. A sacrifice fly by Aviles.
He got a pitch up in the zone here and did the job and got it out to right field, right center field, and get the RBI with the sacrifice fly. It was a real good at bat for Aviles.
Drew Stubbs will hit with 2 men on and 2 out. Stubbs with a single down the left field line, his first time up.
He hit the ball hard his first at bat. And as we can see today, Dick, as we mentioned earlier, the Indians seem to be having some better at bats. Started in the 9th inning last night, in my opinion, where they were really bearing down on Perkins, and seems to have carried over.
Strike one. What we saw from Diamond last year when an inning started to build, he was able to keep the damage to a minimum, and we've seen far less of that this year. There have been a lot more crooked numbers put up.
You're absolutely correct, and I believe that last pitch was a changeup.
Fastball away, 1-1.
I believe you're correct, Dick, and I think it all just comes back to locating the ball. He hasn't located the ball certainly like he did last year. Boy, there was a lot of games he was so good, just spotting the ball in and out and changing speeds and eye levels, and just a fabulous job. And this year hasn't been quite the same.
That's locating the ball there. 89 on the corner, and it's 1-2.
And you have to still remember he had somewhat surgery there in the late winter and was a little bit behind schedule. But you would think he'd be caught up by now.
Diamond trying to keep the damage to a minimum here in the second. Just 1 run on the board. Smothered by Herman, 2-2. Ron Gardenhire talked about Diamond's elbow procedure this morning on his radio show, the manager's radio show, and he said that they've noticed that the velocity was impacted 1 or 2 miles per hour off what we saw last year.
Yeah,
but that's starting to come back.
Yeah, I think we started the game off with 89. If I remember last year it was 91-ish, 90, 91. But hopefully that's the case.
2-2. And now 3-2. The runners will get early jumps, and as Drupal Cabrera waits in the on-deck circle.
I'll pretty much have to come with the fastball, I do believe. Stubbs hit a fastball last time up. He just smashed it. So, but we're in, like you pointed out, Rich, a little bit of a tough spot here.
Full count. Fouled back. Pitch left up, and Stubbs spun it back to the screen.
I think that was just high enough, actually. Boy, it was up in the zone and just high enough where Stubbs had to put forth a little extra effort, and he did foul it off. Pretty much the same pitch that Santana struck out on in the 9th inning last night, but about 7 miles per hour difference, which is an issue.
Back to Diamond. And that ends the inning.
Best athletes. There they are.
That's right. 1 run for the Indians for the 3rd game in a row. They score first. Player of the game. Text the word value followed by a space in the player's name. The short code 234-234. You might want to take the first 2 games of this series into consideration. Wait a few innings and see what happens. Twins have had to come from behind twice to beat the Indians. 3-2 Friday night, 3-2 last night. Now an early 1-0 lead for the Indians. Justin Morneau will lead things off in the 2nd. At the knees, strike 1.
It's a real good fastball. 93 right on the kneecap.
Morneau, Doman, and Plouffe face Masterson in the 2nd. Popped up, short left. Cabrera out, he wants it, makes the catch, 1 away. And that will bring up Doman.
Fastball up and in on Justin. They sort of beat him.
I was interested in your comment Friday night where you said that Ryan Doman, in your mind, was the MVP of the club in the first half. And given his role on the team, one wouldn't think that at the beginning of the year. But here he is again, asked to play a secondary position while the team finds itself short of outfield.
Yeah, and he got absolutely, and I think that's what we call yeoman work, and willing to do whatever it takes to help the ball club, like most players would, but to take, as you pointed out, Dick, the secondary position and work at it and represent himself as well as the ball club very well. Give the Scotty Olzer a little credit here for helping him out that way, and he's handled himself very well in the outfield. Made some strong throws, and I think with the bat has been really knocked in some awful big runs for us, especially before he tweaked his ankle a little bit. Things hit skids a little bit after the ankle tweak, but this last week in New York he came back and got some big hits for us. He hit a big home run in Yankee Stadium, so I think he's done a heck of a job for us.
Switch hitter, of course, the batting average from the right side, but quite a bit higher than the left, but most of the power from the left side of the plate. 8 home runs, 8 of the 9 from this side of the plate.
Well, you that's true. It's a little balanced that way, but again, you get to see more right-handers than you do left.
Another foul.
Whoa. The guy took a little tumble there. Don't get hurt. It's just a $4 ball. Not worth going down them steps.
You mean to tell me when you went to a ball game as a kid, you didn't aggressively go after foul balls?
We were tag teaming people.
Hey, we've talked about this before when you've been up to the booth, but your dad played in the Atlanta Ducks League out in western Minnesota. That's the town team the league that I grew up watching
Chicago.
in Dumont, right? You know, your dad played for Graceville, I believe.
Yep.
Fouled back again. I remember, I mean, it was some of the great eye gouging, scratching fights we'd have. We'd get a dime if we returned a game ball from the town team game.
Yeah, and he used to tell me about after the game, if he pitched well, they passed the hat and go along the fence line, and people would put a quarter in, 50 cents, $1.
Yeah.
And that was sort of how they got paid. So if you didn't pitch any good or hit any good,
you didn't bother passing the hat.
No hat.
Never get the hat back.
They had good crowds. You know, it was good entertainment.
Dolman strikes out number 2. That'll bring up Trevor Plouffe, feeling more at home, maybe in the 6th spot than he did in the number 2 spot. Inside, up around the hands, ball 1. Plouffe tied with the disabled Josh Willingham for home runs. There's a half swing and a strike. 1-1.
And Masterson can, as you pointed out earlier, Dick, that 2-seamer, he can run that thing in there on you and make it awful tough. Ooh.
Tap foul, 1-2.
Wow. There's 2 nasty pitches right there. Especially throwing about 3/4 delivery. The right-hand side, that's not much fun.
And Plouffe fights one off to stay alive. Masterson, the de facto ace of this Cleveland Indians staff. The Indians have kind of endured some rough spots. He usually had been one of these really hot, really cold pitchers. And he's had a much more stable year this year. A couple of strikeouts and a 1-2-3 second. Most highly thought of prospects in all of baseball, with a grand slam for the New Britain Rock Cats and an 8-7 win. Sano stepping up in class to Double-A. The batting average struggling a little bit right now, but immense power. And I think more encouragingly, Tom, for me, the fact that there are some errors there at third base, but people keep saying that he's really improved an awful lot defensively, and they're as convinced as ever that third base, and that ball hops over Plouffe's glove, and Cabrera's aboard leading off at third.
Well, my sources tell me that he's playing just fine. He's doing fine. Defense, of course, we always worry about defense with everybody, and he had some issues a year ago. He's improved immensely, and again, I'm told he's fine over there. And the hitting is what, for me, has not been, you know, it's been sporadic. Obviously hitting 200 is not where he needs to be. He needs to elevate that and be a little more consistent. And, you know, quality at-bats, consistency.
As impressive as the numbers were for Cano and Fort Myers, and then the level below him, Byron Buxton, who went from Cedar Rapids to Fort Myers, you have to remind yourself as a fan, I think, the level at which those numbers were attained, tap foul. In the years I've been covering the Twins professionally, only one guy has jumped out of A ball. That was Ken Herbeck, and he never looked back and never went back to the minor leagues. But it's rare that a player can go from A ball to the big leagues very quickly.
It doesn't happen. And these fellas are going to be a little bit, going to be a couple years before they're ready to come up here and play. So patience is a virtue. Patience, patience, patience.
1-2 to Jason Kipnis.
Trust me, I'd like to trade places with either one of them. I mean, wow, they're really good athletes and talented, skilled people, and they're going to be good players for us. We just have to be patient and let them develop. There's going to be some bumps in the road, but they're going to be okay before it's all said and done.
And no current Twin would have his future more impacted by Miguel Sano than Trevor Plouffe. And Plouffe's just been charged with an error, allowing Cabrera to reach first base. Tap foul. So we'll see if the Indians can take advantage of the Twins' error like the Twins have taken advantage of Cleveland's errors in this series.
Well, we sure have taken advantage, and that's when your pitcher's got to say, hey, okay, I know you guys are busting your butt out here for me, and you make an error or misplay, and my turn to pick you guys up.
1-2 to Kipnis. The left and hit pretty well again.
Hit that one
back is Thomas leaping up, and it is in play. Oh, a home run.
A home run.
Gary Darling calling it a home run, the second opposite field home run for Kipnis in this series.
We might have to look at this one.
And we'll see whether the Twins ask for an appeal.
Think it hit behind the flowers, Richard?
I don't know. Thomas reached up for it. And it's a 3-0 Cleveland lead right now.
You know, Thomas is not making any kind of motion or anything, so I assume he realizes it was over the fence.
Yep, hit the top of the wall, then the railing.
Yep.
And then back onto the field.
You could see the flowers. What are they, tulips back there?
Gardenias. I'm going to go with geranium.
Okay, maybe. You could see them all explode, you know. So.
To left, and Thomas drifts back, and the first out of the third inning. Kipnis hits his 15th of the year, and the Indians, who in Friday night's game and in last night's game jumped out to a 2-0 lead, now have a 3-0 lead, and they did take advantage of the Plouffe error. One down, Santana, the batter. Diamond's 16th home run allowed. Correa leading the team with 18.
Whoops. The umpire flinched on that one, but said ball, and I think he was correct.
Diamond last year in 173 innings allowed just 17 home runs, one every 10 innings, and that's a pretty good number.
And I think this is the kind of, right now, just let's keep pitching the ball now. Let's not start trying to aim it or be a little more careful where we're putting some of our pitches, and keep firing away. Keep throwing the baseball.
Missing outside 3-0.
You know, because that becomes worse. You know, now you say, well, I'm not locating where I want. Now let me pinpoint things. And now you stop throwing the baseball, and before you know it, you got to miss.
And a 4-pitch walk. And that'll bring up Mark Reynolds. Set your compass due north Thursday nights on Fox Sports North. Join host Bill Shirk and Laura Schara as they take a look at the stories and adventures of outdoor enthusiasts in the upper Midwest. Due North Outdoors, Thursdays at 6:30, only on Fox Sports North. And in the case of this next Thursday's episode, it'll precede the Twins opener at Safeco Field against the Mariners. Down low, and Herman will go to the mound.
Good job, Chris.
The Indians go from here to Seattle. They'll play 3 games. The Twins likewise go to the West Coast. They'll play 3 in Anaheim, then move up the coast for 4 against Seattle.
Since I've been retired, Richard, the West Coast games gotten a little tougher to stay. I'll be honest. 10:30 comes around.
Right.
And, oh my! I start struggling, and I understand now what people talked about.
Backhanded by Florimone to Dozier. To Morneau. Double play. Pretty good trip to the mound by Chris Herman.
Give him a save.
The Indians get a couple of runs on another Jason Kipnis home run, and they lead it 3-0.
By CenturyLink, your link to what's next. By Grand Casino, the best stories start here. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us.
Another early lead for the Indians. Twins will try to turn this game around as they did the first 2 games. 3-0 Cleveland. Bottom of the 3rd coming up. And first things first, Twins need to get a base runner on board against Justin Masterson and start working that base runner around for a run.
Yeah, we got him right where.
It'll be the bottom 3rd of the Twins lineup. Cleet Thomas, Aaron Hicks, and Pedro Florimone. 6 up, 6 down for Masterson.
You'd be in the dugout, and Masterson's very tough on the righties. We all know that with that 3/4 delivery and that sweeping breaking ball. And he's got real long arms. It makes it worse, So you'd be in the dugout really rooting for the lefties. Come on, lefties. Come on, lefties.
Well, he'll face 3 of them here. Thatmas, and then switch hitters Hicks and Florimone. Right back to Masterson.
Oh, wow.
1 down. That'll bring up Aaron Hicks. You can submit a question online at carsoup.com/baseball. Jack in Woodbury. A question from Mr. Kelly, it says here. Which player that you managed had the best baseball smarts?
Oh, wow. That was easy. Number 4. Paul Molitor. Yeah, without a question. He was very great instincts for the game of baseball, and worked at that base running, and took bases, extra bases when you didn't think you'd have a chance. Another guy that was of course that I managed was the question. So I would say Mr. Molitor without a doubt.
Hit by a pitch, and he'll go to first.
He overcooked that one. But again, they tell me Robin Yount was pretty, and as well as Cal Ripken.
I was just going to comment. You mentioned
some pretty good players.
Paul right away, that ball coming in and getting Hicks on the right arm. But you managed Paul at the very end of his career. But the impressions I got, and I didn't follow Major League Baseball as closely back then, the impression I got from people who did see Paul play early in his career, he was the same type of player early in his career that over time, of course, he learned a few things.
Yeah.
But he was always a cerebral type of player.
Correct. I think came more seasoned.
Okay.
Veteran type, seasoned. You learn, as you pointed out, you learn a little more. You learn a few tricks and what you can do and can't do. But you have to have those instincts to start with, and then just react to them.
Santana wanted to take a run at Hicks at first base, but he had the ball roll out of his hand.
There's a lot of times that I know saying in the minor leagues when we're down in spring training, and you see something happen and you watch a player go make a move or go make a play, and then he changes his mind and does something else, and usually doesn't end up very well. And we try to remind them to trust their instincts and let your instincts guide you. Your instincts are probably what got you here to start with. So believe in yourself, and if your instincts tell you to do something, then go ahead and do it. Don't try to change in midstream. So that's a big part of it. And Paul had excellent instincts for the game of baseball, without a doubt.
2-1 to Florimon, and Hicks takes off. And Santana is out at second base. Hicks is thrown out by Santana. Just the 5th runner thrown out by Santana this year.
Well, we got a little bit of Masterson does pick his leg up, son, and Santana, got a real good pitch to throw here. It's almost like a half a pitch out. And I thought Hicksy got his foot down at time, but apparently not. Looks like a good jump.
And now a strike to Florimon. 3-2.
But you notice where the pitch was, Dick, on that, and it's almost like a semi-pitch out, and made it a little easier for Santana to throw.
All back. Still 3-2. Full count to the Twins shortstop, and a chopper to the right side should be an easy play for Kipnis, and a nearly perfect first trip through the Twins batting order for Justin Masterson. To get you caught up, Jason Kipnis again challenged his teammates after the loss last night, saying we need to, play better and all that. That's what you're looking for. If somebody's going to step up and say something, let them follow up on the field and do something, and Kipnis did.
Yeah, you could see today they've had way better at-bats, and I think it started a little bit last time and late in the game, and they looked like they were said enough's enough here, and let's bear down a little bit better, and I think it's carried over.
Michael Brantley takes ball one. Brantley hit the bounder over the mound and over the second base bag, fielded by Florimone. Couldn't get it out, and it ended up costing the Twins a run. Officially, Brantley reaching on a fielder's choice. To the left, hit right at Thomas. One down. And that'll bring up Ryan Rayburn.
Yeah, I think the Indians have already squared up more balls today than they did for 2 days. Been a little bit. We've had a few, Kloof didn't get after the one ball, and maybe that funny ball up the middle was a little softly hit, but for the most part, the Indians have hit the ball pretty good.
Strike one to Rayburn. Delivered a single. His first time up. Hard charging Tampa Bay Rays leading Toronto 4-1 for the game. An induction into the Ring of Honor in Toronto, I believe they call it. Level of excellence. Level of excellence for Carlos Delgado.
Here's a powerful left-hand hitter.
Down and away, 1-2.
He can definitely hit the ball a very long way. Good RBI guy. Play okay at first, pretty good.
One and two. Tapper foul on a breaking pitch. Detroit and Kansas City, the series that is drawing some attention here in Minneapolis, mainly from the Cleveland side. It's tied at 1 in the 4th inning. Twins are in a situation where they have been in 4th place now for quite a while, and they still have 3rd place in their sights. Kansas City starting the day 4 games ahead of them. No show money in baseball, but if you're in 4th, you want to finish in 3rd. If you're in 3rd, you want to finish in 2nd.
Correct. You want to finish as high as you can all the time and win as many games as you possibly can while you put the uniform on.
Do you have any sense? We'll take a look at this pitch first. It's down and away 2-2. About the situation in Kansas City now. The Royals selling a lot of hope based on some young guys, and you both saw it develop with the likes of Gaetti and Herbeck, and then not so much with the Stahoviaks and Beckers and guys like that. Can you? I mean, you're always at the mercy of whether these young guys continue to get better, aren't you?
That's for sure. Well, your goal is to try to weed out who can be a major leaguer, who's going to be a major leaguer, and who's going to be man enough to play the boys' game, the kids' game, but still got to be a little bit of a man to play, and have to weed through some of that at times, and try to find the right combination of people.
Ooh, a rocket over the reach of Dozier, and Doma goes into a slide, juggles it, and checking into second base, Ryan Rayburn will get a double.
That was going to be a double all the way, and even though Ryan misplayed the ball just a touch, it was still going to be an easy double for Rayburn, who runs very well. He hit that ball very hard. It made a loud sound too.
Almost got by Dozier before he could get into his jump. Just out of his reach. Runner at second, 1 down for the number 9 batter, Mike Aviles.
Needed Joe Vavra, our infield instructor, to tell Dozier to play a little bit higher.
It's all in the positioning, right?
A little bit higher.
In Kansas City, they've built a lot of their hope around corner infielders. Eric Hosmer, who's done better as of late after the change of hitting coaches.
Sure has.
And Mike Moustakas, who continues to struggle a bit into short left, and Thomas.
I think he hit a long one last time.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did against Justin Verlander. 2 down. And Rayburn's still at second base.
But that man, he hit a long one here, I do believe, too.
Moustakas, yeah. But you saw it first as a third base coach, and then by the time you came around to managing, a lot of guys that came up 5 years earlier were ready to win. You had gone through the weeding out process and found some guys that did want to play on the big stage.
Yeah, they took their beating a little bit, so to say, and learned their lessons and hung in there and battled and came together as a group. And you've made note of that numerous times. You're a Twins fan, you know the history of it, and I think the Royals are somewhat in that same boat. A lot of our guys came through the minor leagues together. I think some of the Royals have been through trade and whatnot. But again, they're definitely better, without a question, and they're playing the game better. But for a number of years, in my opinion, I didn't believe they played any better. You might think they're better or getting better, but they still didn't play. They still made the same fundamental mistakes over and over. And if that doesn't improve, overall you're not going to win enough games to be competitive. So yeah, they're getting better. And I think right now at this time they are starting to play better. And that means the fundamentals are much better, and they're playing more consistent baseball, and probably goes all the way back to the starting pitching. So the starting pitching is better, and everybody should respond to that.
To center, Hicks with a diving catch in center field.
Wow.
Aaron Hicks with a hooking line drive. He snagged it right before it hit the ground.
Big league play.
Ball had some hook on it, and I didn't think Hicks had a chance of making the catch here.
Well, it's going to be close, Dick, and I couldn't tell it either if he was going to be able to get there or not. And boy, he's so quick and the long strides. Laid out and was able to get it right off the what do they call that, shoestring catch.
Yeah,
right? There we go.
Some Pepsi fans of the game enjoying the catch. Enjoying some time out in the sun, getting some vitamin D.
See if we can get some vitamin D in the bats.
Nothing in the way of a hit for the Twins. Dozier will start the fourth. Strike one.
You know, you make those plays in the outfield or wherever. An infielder can make a good play like that, and you hope it can spark the boys when they get in the dugout, and that's why there's a lot of hoopla going on in the Twins dugout, and just trying to stir it up and get them going and see if we can break through. We need an icebreaker.
Fastball for a strike, slider for a strike. 0-2 to Dozier. And that 95-mile-per-hour fastball. Just looking at the velocity readings, watching the ball from center field, and watch how it moves, you can understand why Masterson can dominate teams.
He's long and lanky. He's got that long arm swing and three-quarter delivery. Make it very, very tough.
Dozier hooks one deep down the line, near the pole, but foul. Nice catch by a fan who brought his glove.
Ryan got the good part of the bat on got the good part of the bat on the ball.
Catch with the left hand, didn't spill a drop with the right. That's pretty impressive.
Multi-talented. No spillage. It's hard to practice that play, too.
2 strikes to Dozier.
Oh, wow.
Swing, it hit him, and they're going to calling it strike 3 because he did swing at the pitch. The ball hit him.
Yeah, and the bad part is he swung the bat.
And so Dozier's a strikeout victim. Bottom of the right wrist.
Masterson run that 2-seamer in there like that makes it very tough.
Chris Herman, the batter, hit a fly ball to center his first time up. Breaking pitch off the plate, ball 1.
It's a big swooping breaking ball, Dick, about 80 miles per hour, 81 miles per hour, and then he comes at you with some 94s and 95. That's a big differential in there. It makes it tough to keep the head, and hitters are bobbing and weaving here when this fastball. He's running this fastball in on our hitters as good as anybody I've seen this year. Maybe the fella from New York, the Mets,
Harvey,
just when he had flirted with the no-hitter that day, he ran the ball in there pretty hard at times too. So, but for me, this is one of the Casimir ran some in the other night, but not as many as this one.
Ooh, fastball in, 95-mile-per-hour fastball off the plate, 2-2. Herman, as much as any Twins hitter has today, he's fouled off some pitches. He's battled against Masterson. And a strikeout for out number 2.
Breaking ball. And swooper just was a big swooper.
That'll bring up Mauer. Twins tickets remain available and affordable. A summer's worth of good times at Target Field. Don't miss the fun. Check out the steal of the week and demand-based pricing. Great deals on single game purchases all season long. Call 833-TWINS or go to twinsbaseball.com/tickets. 2 down, Joe Mauer, the batter. Mauer went down swinging on a 97-mile-per-hour fastball in the first, and he takes down and away, ball 1.
That 2-seamer down and away, running away from Joe. But I would suspect that Masterson would come at him here. He came at him hard inside last at bat. I would suspect more of that to come.
Missing inside, 2-0. Masterson, the Cleveland ace, and in a way he's kind of symbolized Cleveland's struggles against the Tigers. Cleveland's won just 3 of the 12 games between the 2 top teams in the division, and Masterson himself is 0-2. So when your number 1 guy has a tough time beating the team you're chasing, that's usually not going to work out real well.
No, that's true, but you know, sometimes the numbers are somewhat misleading. You know, Casimir, he's 0 and forever on the road or whatever it is this year, and he certainly pitched a game the other night, Friday night, against the Twins that he certainly deserved to win. Let's be honest. I mean, he pitched the ball really well. Now, he didn't get the loss or anything, but again, he certainly pitched well enough to win. So sometimes the numbers can mislead you. Oh, wow.
Santana took not 1 but 2 steps toward the Cleveland dugout. Masterson thought it was strike 3. Jerry Meal said it was low, I guess.
Wow.
Wow. Looked like it cut the plate in half almost.
I just questioned whether it was going to be high enough, and it certainly was.
Bouncer to short. Cabrera scoops it up. And a 1-2-3 4th inning for Justin Masterson. He's faced the minimum number of batters through 4. So the Twins, you can have fun with your favorite Twins players and help raise money for a great cause. It's called Hang with the Majors, a charity dinner bartending event to benefit the Minnesota Military Family Foundation. It's coming up in the next homestand, Thursday, August 1st, at Toby Keith's Bar and Grill in St. Louis Park. You can get photos and autographs of your favorite players in a fun and casual environment. You can find out more, buy your tickets by visiting twinsbaseball.com/community and click on Hang with the Majors. I'm under the assumption now that Trevor Plouffe will be one of the players there because Olivia Plouffe is here. There's a deep drive to left, and it's hooking. Foul, not by much. Olivia Plouffe is here to talk more about the event. And one of the things that I know, Olivia, you're very happy about is the fact that you've got great participation from Trevor and the gang for this event.
Yeah, we do. Trevor will definitely be there along with a number of other Twins players, and their involvement is pretty big. It's a very small event, so you have a lot of one-on-one time with the players. You can sit down and have dinner with them from 6 to 8 p.m. Tickets for that are on the Twins website, and you can also purchase a bar stool, and they will serve you drinks from 8 to 10 at Toby Keith's Bar and Grill August 1st, so it's a great time for a great cause.
Cabrera takes one in the dirt, and it is 2-1. How do they decide, or do you decide, who's the bartender going to be?
Well, they will actually rotate them out. So whichever players come that night, they'll just rotate them out, so you'll get a chance to speak to a few.
Again, it's August 1st at Toby Keith's Bar and Grill, just a little bit south of 394 in St. Louis Park. Bouncer to third, wide of third. It's 2-2. Do you have a confirmed list of players that will definitely be there?
I don't, but the turnout is pretty great, right. So the majority of them will be there.
Twins have a day game that day, wrapping up a series with the Royals, 12-10 game, and then the players will get over there and get to work.
Yep, that's it.
2-2. Scott Diamond to Asdrubal Cabrera, Jason Kipnis, Nick Swisher will follow, and another bouncer foul. Now, is this the first year you've been involved with this event?
This is the first year I'm involved, so I'm also really looking forward to seeing what it's about and seeing the turnout and being able to meet some of the local military families out here. And I mean, it's such a great cause, a great opportunity for people to come out and show their appreciation for all that our men and women do overseas.
And another foul ball. Again, the benefit is for the Minnesota Military Family Foundation. So all the money raised that night at Toby Keith's will be going to, as you said, a very worthy cause.
Definitely.
Dick, I think it's always great when the fans can get the opportunity to meet the players and get that one-on-one time. And you know, it comes a little bit more personable that way, and you feel a little bit more special about it.
Deep to left field. Thomas back to the wall, and he makes the catch.
And that's a big-time catch right there by Clete.
Clete Thomas leaps up against the wall to take an extra base hit away from Asdrubal Cabrera.
That was a big league play. I didn't think he had any chance to get back there and get it. And the wall's getting closer and closer, and Clete made the leap and put the glove up, and lo and behold, he's got it. So it's just a wonderful play right here.
Ball hit the glove. Thomas hit the wall. One down. A long at bat by Cabrera. He just missed a home run, one away. That'll bring up Jason Kipnis, who did hit a home run his last time up.
That's really two real excellent plays by Clete Thomas in this series, Dick. And made that shoestring catch late in the game the other night, Friday night, I believe it was. Well, could be wrong about that one, but that's two real sharp plays for him.
Olivia, I know one of the things that fans have become more and more aware of over the years is how active the Twins Players Wives organization has been for events like this. I see you and some of the other wives selling T-shirts and spring training, souvenirs, again, with all the money going to charity. That's something I think fans are particularly pleased about, that the players' wives are as active in the community.
Yeah, we are very active. We really like to raise as much money as we can. At the end of the year, we take all the money that we raise and we kind of divide it amongst a variety of charities. The Hang with the Majors event is specifically for the Minnesota Military Foundation. So if you come out and support that, you know exactly where the money's going to. So.
Well, again, we'll give you the particulars Thursday, August 1st at Toby Keith's Bar and Grill in St. Louis Park. Hang with the Majors, a charity dinner bartending event to benefit the Minnesota Military Family Foundation. And if you'd like more information, go to twinsbaseball.com/community and click on Hang with the Majors. Olivia, thank you for stopping by, and we'll hope that the Twins and Trevor Plouffe can get this game turned back around.
Thank you so much.
All right.
All right.
Okay, Olivia, take care. Have fun.
Runner at first, one down, and Nick Swisher the batter. The count 1-0. Diamond has not had a 1-2-3 inning. And a throw to first to check on Kipnis, who is a base stealer. You've got Michael Bourne, Drew Stubbs, and Kipnis, who are the leading base stealers on this team.
The way they're swinging the bat, Dick, I don't think Terry Francona will be doing any kind of real fancy running here. They're hitting the ball way too hard, and so the idea is not to give the opposing pitcher any kind of break, make him earn his outs, and so that's just my opinion on that. I just don't think he'll do much running.
Diamond's gotten one ground ball double play, got the Twins off the field in the third inning after the Kipnis home run.
A lot of times managers will, when you're hitting the ball good, so let's not, mess it up. Just let the boys play, and when you're having a little bit of a hard time hitting the ball, that's when you sort of want to try to generate a little offense and maybe do some hitting and running and things. But I think it's fair to say they're hitting the ball very hard, and so why take a chance on giving them an out, giving the opposing team an out. So.
It is 3-0, and except for a couple of really nice outfield plays by Aaron Hicks, and now here in the fifth inning, Clee Thomas, it could be a little worse than that. 2-1 from Scott Diamond to Nick Swisher, who drilled to center. Hicks charges, and on to second base is Kipnis. First and second, one away.
Another hard hit ball here, and I see some stirring down in the bullpen, and it sure looks like the bullpen should be getting going here. Because I don't think Mr. Diamond's tricking them at all here. They seem to be having some real good swings.
Santana with a bouncer to short and a walk. Anthony Swarzak starting to get loose. In addition to the hits, and there have been 5 hits, there are now 6 hits. That ball getting it at Hicks in a hurry, and they're loaded up again with 1 out. Santana jumps on the first pitch. In addition to the hits, there's 3 walks. There's been an error. There's a weird fielder's choice that allowed for another base runner, and Diamond just has been another one of those games, Tom, where he can't get into any kind of a rhythm. He can't get into a 1-2-3 inning and come out of it and get ready to go again for the next inning.
He just hasn't been as he's not been as sharp as we would have hoped. I'm sure he would have hoped, and I'm sure he's missing his spots some, and the Indians are just really having real good at bats right now, and so Andy's out to try to figure out a way to get us some kind of little double play here, and maybe we can get out of this and maybe get Swarzak in the game. He hasn't pitched since the break, so he needs to get out there and pitch. So I would think that we find a way to get through this inning, and then probably have to make a change.
Diamond, even when he excelled last year and won a dozen ball games, you would not have classified him as a strikeout pitcher.
No.
But he does not have a strikeout, even though there are a lot of Cleveland hitters, including the guy at the plate right now, who are prone to strikeout. Last year, 90 strikeouts, 173 innings, and Diamond could use one here. Reynolds walked and scored in the second, bounced into a double play a second time up, and here's a pop-up which might
be close.
And foul ground, and Reynolds is gone on 1 pitch.
He just chased a bad one there. The ball is up in the zone, and basically Mr. Reynolds just gave us an out. That wasn't the ideal pitch that you want to swing at.
Now Brantley hit that bounder over the mound over the second base bag in the second, and then he lined out to Thomas in the fourth.
We gave Chris Herman a save an inning ago, and now we're going to maybe give Rick Anderson another save.
That's right.
See if we can get this man out.
None of the numbers for Diamond are what the Twins expected. And one of the areas of concern, left-handers coming into the game are hitting .340.
Unbelievable.
Against Scott Diamond.
Never would have thought that would.
Out in front of an off-speed pitch, strike one.
Pitch was down and away. Very good pitch.
Twins still in the game, but a big second out off the bat of Reynolds, and if Diamond can back it up by retiring Brantley.
Actually, Reynolds had two real good at bats. You remember back that he walked and then hit that hard grounder to Florimon for a double play.
Driven to the gap.
That's too
bad. And that may empty the bases. So another left-handed batter with a big hit. In fact, Brantley digs for three, and he's got a 3-run triple here in the fifth.
I think we get another look at this one. We're going to see it's right down the middle, and we talked earlier in the game about, or early on Friday, I believe it was, Dick, about left-hand hitters just dropping the bat head down on the ball, and I think that's what you're going to see here. Boom. Middle in and just dropping the bat head on it. The ball really takes off.
Another disappointing outing for Scott Diamond. He comes out. He nearly got through the fifth, but a very costly at bat with Michael Brantley. It cost Diamond and the Twins 3 runs at 6-0. Knocked out after 4 2/3 innings, and he'll yield to Anthony Swarzak.
I think we faced 25 hitters and we didn't strike out anybody. That's a little unusual. And but Scotty just didn't locate the ball as good as he needed to, and I think the Indians had some excellent swings at him today, and maybe not enough inside, maybe this and maybe that. I'm not an expert on the pitching end of it, but the Indians look somewhat comfortable with their at-bats today.
Well, Scott Diamond has given up 23 runs in the first 4 innings and 24 of them in the 5th inning alone. Runner at third, 2 down. Swarzak will go after Ryan Rayburn. First pitch lifted to right center field. That's going to be a long run for Domet, but he's there. Swarzak gets the Twins off the field with 1 pitch, but not until the Indians double their lead.
Of the 5th. I'm Jamie Hirsch inside the Minnesota Lottery Winners Circle with a special family. They're celebrating 4 generations of watching the Twins. Starting with Martin, who is 95 years old. How special is it for you to be here with your family today?
Oh, it's great.
It's got to be pretty special, huh?
Yes.
What do you think of Target Field?
Good.
He says he watches the Twins on TV all the time. You know, we're going to give you guys $100 worth of Minnesota Lottery scratch-offs. This is a lot of fun to be here with your dad, your son, and your grandson.
Yes, thanks for giving us the lottery tickets, and it's fun being here.
Thank you for being here, and I like the Joe Mauer jersey on your little 2-year-old grandson. We get him going early here, Dick and Tom.
Thanks,
All right.
Jamie. Justin Morneau leading off the Twins' 5th. First pitch back to Masterson's glove. No hits for the Twins. They did have a base runner. Aaron Hicks was hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning, and then he was thrown out trying to steal. And Masterson hasn't given up anything close to a hit so far.
It's a sinker down and away, and maybe just an ill-advised swing by Justin and tough pitch to hit. It's not a real good one, but sometimes, you know, you get a little anxious. You stand in the field for a long, long time, and you want to get up there and hit and just get a little bit over anxious.
And as you said last night, we had the same situation. Then the next hitter, the second hitter, asked to take a strike. Pitcher knows that, so he gets ahead of him.
Yep. That's how it works.
1 strike to Doman. 2 strikes.
Oh, that's a nice breaking ball at 81, 82 miles per hour. It's a big sweeper. And it's really good differential. I don't know if that's the right word, Dick, but
it's a good word.
It's, you know, the different speeds, tough.
And simply put, Justin Masterson is over matching some of these Twins hitters. High fastball and then a lot of breaking pitches.
Got 6 strikeouts.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. And Trevor Plouffe went down his first time up. He'll try to extend this 5th inning.
I think he's recorded 2 ground ball back to him comebackers, so that's 8 outs. He's not going to let the defense get involved. He's going to take care of it himself.
Hat foul, 2 quick strikes. Chris Herman got a ball out of the infield back in the 1st inning. That's been it. Morneau's pop up in the 2nd went to the outfield, but it was caught by the shortstop Cabrera. 2 quick strikes to Trevor Plouffe and a foul back. Twins trying to get a 3-game sweep. It would be just their 2nd of the season. Here about a month ago, they swept the White Sox in a 3-game series. A lot of work to do. First order of business would be try to get Masterson into the stretch position, but he just breezes through the Twins lineup in the 5th inning. 1, 2, 3. He has gotten 15 outs in 15 plate appearances. Nothing lead. The Freeze Cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Jason Kipnis for the second game in a row hitting a home run, just getting it over the wall and left. And if Lee Thomas had gotten there a split second before, you never know. Thomas has already made one good catch. A very rough outing for Scott Diamond. Mike Aviles will lead things off. Anthony Swarzak delivers strike one.
That four-seam fastball, 92 miles per hour, is a nice pitch. Get ahead of the hitter and go from there.
And strike two. Twins were retired quickly, Tom, in the bottom of the fifth inning on a total of 8 pitches.
Yeah, you know, we got a little bit bad start there, and I'm sure Justin really probably didn't want to swing at that first one that he did, you know, and hindsight's 20/20, but again, then Doman had to take a pitch, and Masterson got ahead of him, and then he breezed the rest of it. But a lot of that, in my opinion, is a result of players having to stand in the field for X amount of time, and you stand out there for too long, and the at-bats suffer. It's just the way it is. It's nothing that people do consciously. It's just a subconscious thing. You lose a little bit of your edge that you need to hit, and that's why you really have to be sharp, especially after a bad inning like that. And when you come in and get your chance, you really got to get your mind focused and your body ready to hit. And sometimes it's very, very difficult to do.
In the fifth inning, the top half of the inning, 7 batters came to the plate. 3 of them scored. There was a pitching change in the middle of it all, or actually towards the end of it all. First pitch swung on foul back by Stubbs. 1 for 3 on the afternoon, a single in his first at bat, the leadoff hit of the game.
Then he got robbed by Hicks.
Hicks with the great catch in center to wrap up the 4th inning.
A breaking ball, a slider by Anthony. Good spot, down and away. Well, the Chris Herman experiment didn't work out like I would have hoped.
Swing and a miss on the breaking pitch, 1 and 2.
Another good slider.
The Twins were hoping to have a better starting rotation this year, and a lot of those hopes were centered around Scott Diamond.
And justifiably so. You know, he won 12. How many games he won? 12?
Dozen games. Yeah. Florimo. 2 down. And Cabrera will hit, but see, the outfield defense has been really good again.
Yeah, Clete Thomas all the way around. Hicks, Doman. You go on and on. And again, the infielders have chipped in as well. And so remember the sprawling catch by Florimon. We got Here's Hixie, but again, the play that Dozier made early in the game, I think Friday night, going to his left and spinning and throwing the ball basically flat out and getting it over to Justin at first. That was just set the tone that day. So again, the Twins defense has been very, very good this weekend. We did have one little misplay maybe today or two. But again, overall, though, it's been our bright spot.
1-1 to Asdrubal Cabrera. The Twins pinning a lot of their hopes for the starting rotation around Vance Worley, too, and Worley demoted to the minor leagues and now on the 7-day disabled list with what's been described as a minor shoulder issue, but it's the shoulder, so they'll be very careful with it. The one hit deep to left, and Thomas on the edge of the track makes the catch. Swarzak has faced 4 and retired 4.
Right now, you can get 20 crispy chicken McNuggets for just $4.99 at McDonald's. And by Toyota. Let's go places. To find the nearest Toyota dealer and check out our current offers, visit buyatoyota.com.
5 no-hit innings for Justin Masterson. 5 nearly perfect innings for Justin Masterson.
He's dominated without a doubt. See if we can put the jinx on him.
Cleat Thomas, Aaron Hicks, and Pedro Florimon will face Masterson in the Twins 6th. The first pitch down and in, ball 1. Thomas get a comebacker to the mound, leading off the 3rd inning.
He's been staying ahead of the count. Just pitched a, no pun intended, a masterful game.
Bounce to the right side, fielded by Kipnis, throws him out. Closest bid the Twins have had to a hit. Kipnis with a fine play going to his left.
Boy, I thought the first baseman Reynolds made a mistake by not going for this ball, and you can see him hesitate, but Kipnis really responded here and made a really good play.
The Indians have already lost this series. You can't blame the starting pitching. Kazmir, 6 innings, no earned runs. Kluber, 5 innings, no earned runs, left with a hip injury yesterday. And here the Twins have had just one base runner, and only for a few seconds back in the 3rd inning against Masterson. Ball 1. Hicks was hit by a pitch. Masterson's actually hit 2 batters, but he hit Dozier on what was strike 3.
Swung the bat.
Back in the 4th inning.
Ooh. Ow. Hicks, he found when he banged one off his ankle just 10 days ago or so, or whatever it was, and it looked like it hurt awful bad watching it on TV, but I think he's got the shin guard on. He did that right-handed though, didn't he, Nick?
Yes. Yep. 1-1. 1-2. Justin Masterson is dealing here this afternoon.
Well, we can see where their strengths are, that's for sure, and they got a few weaknesses, but obviously their starting pitching, especially these 3 games that you pointed out, Richard, they've been, that's pretty impressive.
2-2. 1 ball has been hit out of the infield. That was back in the 1st inning by Herman. Hit a fly ball to Stubbs. 2-2 to Hicks. Poke to the left side, picked up by Aviles. Fires across. Reynolds with a low catch, 2 away. And that will bring up Florimon.
Getting those ground balls like he's been noted for, getting a lot of ground balls with that sinker, and starting to pick a few more up here as we go.
Florimon with a routine ground ball to Kipnis his first time up. Strike 1.
I'll give the Indian defense a little credit. I got after them pretty good for 2 days, but they made the plays today, that's for sure.
Swing and a miss, 2 strikes. A 1-2-3-6. 6 no-hit innings for Justin Masterson and a 6-0 Cleveland lead.
was all Indians. Scott Diamond just didn't locate the ball good enough to be successful here, especially at the pitching in the major leagues. You can't throw some good hitters, some pitches right down the center of the plate. They're going to do some swinging on you and make it hurt. So Scotty just didn't locate the ball good enough. Some of the same issues he's had throughout this season, and conversely, Masterson has just been fabulous for the Indians. He's dominated the game with that big swooping breaking ball and that very live fastball, running it in on our hitters as good as I've seen all year. Thielbar.
Caleb Thielbar comes out of the Twins bullpen. Suffered a little bit of a groin strain during the All-Star break. Twins wanted to hold him out of action for a couple of games. They did that. Now he's back in there to pitch to the Indians in the 7th.
Anthony Swarzak did a good job for an inning in the 3rd.
He'll face Kipnis, Swisher, and Santana here in the 7th inning. I suppose the manager has the option, Tom, of letting Swarzak go through and pitch another inning or two, but then you lose him for a few days. And
I don't want to get the cart before the horse here, Dick, and I don't really want to stir anything up, but I would have to suspect, as you probably already have thought about, that there might be a little switching going on here with rotation as well. So there might be some underlying thoughts, and not to stir it up, but maybe Swarzak gets a start, but I don't know if
Thomas shielding his eyes from the sun, making the catch, one away.
You know how much longer we're going to stay with Scotty, and maybe he needs a little time in the bullpen. You know, I don't know any of this. I'm just sort of speculating and thinking out loud, and maybe I shouldn't do that, but I would think the Twins in the front office and the manager and Andy are probably thinking that maybe switch a few things around here and see if we can get him going, because he is a good pitcher. We know that. We've seen him do it, and just missing a few spots now, and he needs to locate the ball. Maybe he needs a little break from the starting. Sometimes a little stint in the bullpen and help straighten you up.
One of the other factors too might be that if Thielbar is healthy to pitch, he has not pitched since last weekend, and so too Ryan Presley, Josh Renicky, guys like that you're going to need on a road trip, so you don't want them sitting out too long.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to see those two fellows the rest of the game here. One will probably pitch the 8th, and one will probably pitch the 9th. So that's what I would suspect. You know, here's Thielbar pitching this inning because he did have a little bit of an injury. So if you save him for the end, the 9th inning, and now he gets hurt, now you got nobody. Now you got to warm up Perkins or somebody. So you just allow yourself a little bit of protection here by letting him pitch the 7th inning.
Thielbar looks in perfect form. Faced 2 batters, he's gotten 2 outs. He's been certainly one of the bright spots for the Twins.
Just fabulous. This season. Just terrific job.
Races which include camels, ostriches, and zebras. Now you've been.
Yeah, I can donate someone. Not to those though.
All right, Phil Irvin provides the details from Canterbury Park's Extreme Race Day at FoxSportsNorth.com. You've been known to watch some horse races in your time, some dog races, but what about a camel race?
I have never seen one, just on TV, just something like this, be this nature, but we watched that, and there's some rumor out there if they got 4 legs and moving, I'm wagering. So that's not altogether true, but we've been known to invest and make some donations across the country.
1-0 to Carlos Santana. And on the outside corner, a strike, 1-1. Indians came out swinging the bats today against Scott Diamond, knocked him out in the 5th inning. He's trying to patch this game together with the bullpen, hoping first things first they can get a hit against Justin Masterson.
Thielbar can, pitch, get through the rest of the season, and it'd be one of those great stories for a young man to make it to the big leagues. He's gone through a lot in his minor league career, amateur ball and independent ball, same as Colabello, and be just a wonderful story.
If he retires Santana here, it'll be 21 games, 22 2/3 innings, only 7 hits 9 walks and a strikeout per inning pitched. That floats outside, 3-2.
That's a funny pitch there. I don't know if that's a big breaking ball and just in reach. That should be a challenge pitch, I would think.
Drilled to center. Hicks is there.
We'll take it.
Another 1-2-3 inning for Caleb Thielbar. It's 6-0 Cleveland. Justin Masterson will try to extend his no-hit bid through 7. But first, we will have the 7th inning stretch preceded now by God Bless America.
The 2013 Twins Fest audition winner and 10-year veteran of the U.S. Naval Reserve, who was on active duty for Operations Desert Shield and Storm, and 2-time recipient of the Navy Achievement Medal, Donald Finley from Northfield, who's going to lead us in the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Managerial career, he was no hit once as a manager. Terry Steinbach, given the reins of the Twins dugout here with Ron Gardenhire being ill, and so far Justin Masterson has pitched a masterpiece.
I don't think Steiny ain't thinking about it either. Believe me, it's the worst thing that can happen. I'm telling you, it's awful. You get no hit or perfect game like we did in New York that day. That was awful.
David Wells at Yankee Stadium.
One of those
perfect game against the Twins.
Memorable moments that you don't want people even reminding you of. And at home you'd be watching the sports networks and you run into Madison Square Garden. What's this game? Oh, David Wells' perfect game. Oh yeah, I'm going to watch this one.
Into center field and a ball that drops for a base hit. Dozier will go to second, and he's in with the first Twins hit. A snap bat, and Stubbs could not quite get there.
Stubbs was shaded over to right center, and he's probably the right thing to be over there on the wrong side of the field. And you know, Ryan really got jammed up here and shattered the bat and just happened to float in the right spot. We'll take it. And Steiny just had a big breath of air go out, that's for sure.
We've seen center fielders dive. We've seen Aaron Hicks dive for balls like that.
Dick, I think you knew that was going to be a hit. It looked like a hit right from the get-go.
All right. Chris Herman, the batter. The Twins.
I don't disagree with what you said, but I think that was a hit. But he played it into a double, that's for sure.
Herman with a fly ball to center and a strikeout in the fourth. Bounce to the right side, one away, and Dozier goes to third base. Well, Terry Steinbach then should be relieved. The Twins have their hit.
He's relieved.
And now Mauer will come to the plate. Joe has had as much trouble as anybody against Masterson. Struck out swinging in the first, broke his bat, hit a ground ball in the fourth.
Yeah, Masterson's caused everybody some problems today. He's been really strong. Change at speed's excellent. Running the fastball way inside on people, making it very, very difficult to hit.
Twins lineup hasn't been very productive as of late. We all know that. But Masterson twice this year has pitched 7 innings and given up just 2 hits. He did it in his second start of the year in St. Petersburg against the Rays. 7 innings, 2 hits. Then he did it against the Nationals at home in the middle of June. 7 innings, 2 hits. And so far through 6 1/3 innings this afternoon, the Twins have just the broken bat double.
And just looking at the pitch speeds, it's still 93, 94 with the fastball, and right hovering around 81, 82 with that big breaking ball. And you saw the first pitch to Joe, he run it right in on him hard.
2-1.
With the backdoor breaking ball that time instead of that big sweeper. So he's giving you enough looks, that's for sure. The backdoor breaking ball to the lefties, a big sweeper at times, running the fastball and 2-seamer down and away, or the 4-seamer way inside. He's been mixing it up. Excellent job.
Bouncer to the right side, bobbled by Kipnis, and Mauer will reach.
This is if we can show this a couple times here, we try to explain to the young people out there. This is why when we misplay the ball, we always pick it up with our bare hand. You can watch Kipnis now, and you know, we know he's not the greatest fielder. He's made a couple decent plays today, but he tries to swipe at it with his glove and he misses it and swipes again. Just reach down and pick it up with your bare hand. If he had done that, he certainly would have thrown Joe out at first, but he tries to reach at it with the glove, and of course what happens, you swipe at it and you don't get it, and
whoa,
wow, look at this.
In and out of the glove of Reynolds, and Morneau's retired. Justin Morneau hasn't hit a ball any harder in his major league career.
That was a rocket. You can't, like you point, look at this, we might have an injury over here. This might have hurt.
You hope, given the sound that it hit his glove.
Boy, that was just a bullet. Give Reynolds a little credit for getting the glove to it, but my goodness gracious, that was a rocket. And Masterson did a good job of getting over there. That looked like double written all over it.
Terry Francona is going to come to the mound here.
I'm going to take a timeout.
Check with Masterson here. There's some activity in the Cleveland bullpen. I think they just want to make sure that Masterson's okay.
Oh, he did some running around there. His pitch count's only up to 88. And Dick, how about it? 64 strikes, 24 balls.
Yeah.
That's just outstanding. You're not going to see better numbers than that all season long, I don't believe.
Twins head to the West Coast, and our century link to what's next. It'll be Samuel DeDuno against Joe Blanton, Kyle Gibson against a yet-to-be-named starter, and then Jared Weaver, who no-hit the Twins last year in Anaheim, will go against Mike Pelfrey. Ryan Dohm the batter, and the Twins have a runner at second with 2 away. They could use another hit. This one pulled foul. Doug Bernier's come out onto the on-deck circle. He's apparently going to hit for Trevor Plouffe. Plouffe's in a deep rut. 6 strikeouts in his last 6 at-bats. One strike to Ryan Doman. Inside, 1-1.
There's that fastball, that four-seamer. He's trying to run in hard on our left-hand hitters as well as the right-handers. It's a good visit by the mound, I think, by the third baseman went to the mound to slow things down, and Terry Francona, the manager, came out just to slow the pace of the game back down. Try to get Masterson in a good comfort zone again, but he might be getting near the end, Dick. I think because they got the bullpen going, and the balls are starting to make a louder noise off the bat, so he may be getting near the end.
2-1. 3-1. A season high 120 pitches for Masterson in his last start before the break.
Well, we can see that's not going to be the case today, though. Sure that the Indians want to get their closer in the game. He hasn't pitched, and so he needs to pitch. So he's going to pitch the ninth for sure. And I'm not, who they're going to use in the eighth. I'm not sure. Maybe that Miller fella or somebody that get some confirmation on that. But, he threw the ball fairly well, but he did give up the big hit to Maurer. But again,
Joe Smith.
Joe Smith.
Right.
What did I say, Miller?
Popped up near second base. Cabrera retreating with the catch. The Twins get their first hit, get their first run, and it's a 6-1 ball game. Perhaps signaling that his day is done.
I'm sure it's done. Dick, 93.
It was about an overmatched performance as the Twins lineup has seen. Our Sanford Health injury report. Yoenis Cespedes is now there, maintaining up and down that he did not do it in the home run hitting contest, but he's not played since then. They're saying instead that he did it in the final round of batting practice on Friday.
Bottom line, he's out.
And he's got a wrist problem, not in the starting lineup again today.
Here's another young guy. I hope he gets back. He's an entertaining player, and again, the game needs these kind of guys. So let's hope he gets back in there. Just to finish up on Masterson, Dick, 93 pitches, 67 strikes. That's really good. 16 first pitch strikes. 23 batters. Very impressive outing.
Josh Renicky out of the Twins bullpen. He'll pitch to the Indians here in the 8th inning. The word that Bert Blyleven uses often is attacking the strike zone, and the numbers you gave suggest that that's exactly what he was doing here today.
And then some.
Doug Bernier making his Twins debut. He's in at third base for Trevor Plouffe.
Good move here by Steiny to get Doug in the game and going to get his feet wet. Good opportunity. He'll get an at bat next inning for this half of the inning.
2 strikes to Reynolds and a foul back. If it plays out that Renicky will get the 8th inning and then maybe Ryan Presley will get the 9th, and then it will mean that everybody in the Twins bullpen has had at least one outing since the break, which should set things up rather well for the road trip.
That's correct. Get everybody out there again, you know, one of the benefits about going to the West Coast, you play a day game today, you don't play till tomorrow night, and you gain the extra 3 hours or 2 hours, so everybody gets a good rest and be ready to go for tomorrow.
Thomas tracks it, but it's back in the seats. Twins still carrying a 13-man bullpen, or a 13-man pitching staff, an 8-man bullpen. And as Tom suggested in the last half inning, there's a chance that the Twins will move some things, pieces around, some players around.
Just speculating.
Yeah. Foul back, still 2 strikes.
You think that was fair on my part?
Speculating
on that one? Did you have any thoughts going in your head about that?
To be honest with you, I did not. I just don't know what the other options are at this point. 1 down. Reynolds swings and misses at a breaking pitch. Get ready, fans, for Fox Sports 1, America's new 24-hour sports network. Fox Sports 1 will be your home for great live sports, all the news and highlights you like, shows and specials that only Fox can bring you. America's new sports network is Fox Sports 1, coming August 17th. I don't know, it's a decision you made, I'm sure, a number of times in your career. You get to a point where if something isn't working, you've tried everything but a demotion to the bullpen, you're not left with many other choices.
Well, again, sometimes you have to make adjustments and maybe to give somebody else maybe a shot at it. Again, I'm not, just came into my mind and I'm up here to do that job. So just a thought that I had, and it's the first start after the All-Star break. Maybe you want to give it another 1 or 2 or more, but that's going to be up to Terry Ryan and Rob, and Gardy and Andy. So they'll get their heads together and maybe they won't talk about it. Maybe they will. I don't know.
Easy 2 hopper to Morneau for out number 2. And the final results of the AT&T Twitter poll. Can Cleveland overtake the Tigers in the Central? Most of you believe that the Tigers will win out there, leading Kansas City 3-1, bottom of the 7th inning right now at Kauffman Stadium. They kind of did this last year, the Tigers did. Yeah. They kind of, the analogy I used was a cat playing with a mouse, and then when the cat got serious about things, it was the end of the mouse. And that's kind of what happened last year with first Cleveland and the White Sox. This year it's Cleveland and the Royals. And if the Royals come back and sweep the Tigers at home, well, then maybe they'll be the next challenger for the Tigers. They'd be 5 games back. But the Tigers just seem to kind of play with everybody in the division until they get to be a nuisance, and then they swat them away.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dick. It seems like they got the best pitching, probably the best veteran type hitting, and I know they're lacking a closer, which is very, very important. But I have a feeling Mr. Dombrowski, the general manager over there, will do the best he can to rectify that situation.
Cisco Rodriguez, who's been moved into the closer role with the Brewers, now rumored to have drawn some interest from the Tigers. Red Sox need a closer now too. A strike on the outside corner, a good inning for Josh Renicky, and the Twins bullpen continues to be getting it done against the Indians.
for the Twins as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Be sure to stick around after the game for Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink. We'll take a look at all that has transpired here this afternoon. We'll look at a masterful performance by Justin Masterson. Carried a no-hitter into the 7th inning. And also some glovely work from the Minnesota Twins, who have been very good this entire series, with a couple adding to the highlight reel. And also we'll hear some post-game reaction from the players and acting manager Terry Steinbach. Guys?
All right, thank you, Jamie. This is a big moment for Doug Bernier. He'll be facing C.C. Lee, a reliever that the Twins have not seen yet. He's from Taiwan. He's making his second appearance. But for Doug Bernier, this is his first time in a big league uniform on a big league field since 2008. He got an audition, if that. Got a couple games for the Rockies. 4 at-bats, no hits in 4 at-bats, and he has been paying his dues and then some.
Yes, he has.
1-0. Does not have a major league hit.
Oh, boy.
Hit .295, which is far above his minor league history.
The best he's ever done.
And that's why he is here. 2-0. 3-0.
Easy. He'll have to take one now.
Bernier replaced Trevor Plouffe, who's in a strikeout rut that has reached 6 straight. And a 4-pitch walk.
I'm sure Terry Francona's thrilled with that. 4 pitches. Unbelievable. Sit out there all day and watch the guy pitch 7 strong innings like that and give your team and just come in and do something like that. Shocking.
Clete Thomas will hit. You know, we jokingly talked about Terry Steinbach's wish for a hit. Didn't want to have his club being no hit in his first full game as acting manager. But you wonder at some level whether Terry Francona wasn't a little relieved to get that hit out of the way too, because
Absolutely.
Masterson's pitch count was getting up there. You're going to need Justin Masterson. He got out of this game with less than 100 pitches, and that might help him down the road.
Absolutely right. All them things you said are absolutely true. He was somewhat probably relieved that the ball fell in center field and takes sort of the pressure off, that's for sure.
Swing and a miss.
Wow.
Thomas is gone on 3 pitches. Lee couldn't throw a strike to Bernier, and he strikes out Thomas on 3.
They mix in between the 2 fastballs. They mix in a nice little breaking ball. 93 miles per hour on the fastball, so there's plenty there on the gun. So it's like he's got the talent and the breaking ball to keep the hitters off balance. And the strikeouts are mounting a little bit here for the Twins.
Lee is the 9th major league pitcher or player from Taiwan. Up and away, ball 1. It's kind of surprised there haven't been more, but just 9. Pitch for the World Baseball Classic team for Chinese Taipei. Down and in, and it's 2-0 to Hicks. Made his major league debut just prior to the All-Star break against the Royals. Twins would like to see Hicks get going again. He had the big 4-hit game on the road trip and had the average over 200, but now it's back down around 190. In fact, it is 191 right now. Fouled back, big swing, and it's 2-1. Outside, 3-1. Twins would like to make a little noise here in the 8th inning, at least make it interesting for the Indians in the 9th. Their 9th inning relief efficiency hasn't been what it has been the last couple of years.
This fella here, Lee, he drops his elbow down and lets that ball sail on him. Hey, there it goes again.
Couple of walks here to start the 8th inning.
I'm not going to watch this much longer. No. That's disappointing. I tell you, as a manager,
you know, you got 6-1 lead. It seems like a good opportunity to pitch. You're going to get to face a guy that hasn't hit in the big leagues in 2 years. Another guy hit 190, and Clee Thomas. You know, you just don't throw it over. That doesn't bode well for your future.
See what the Twins can do with a couple of free passes in the 8th after a pitching change. Not what the Twins or their fans would like.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Minnesota Twins LLC.
See, that's the same effect you had when you addressed the team in the clubhouse. Everything else was quiet, and it was just you talking.
Well, it's just quiet now because we're in the short end.
Pedro Florimon will hit. And against the new Cleveland pitcher, Cody Allen. Twins with a chance to do something here if they can.
Yeah, Cody's got a good ERA. He's been out there 41 times. Got 4-1 record. Somebody that the manager trusts.
To throw strikes.
Correct.
Florimon with runners at first and second, one down. Flip foul over the screen, one strike.
You know, the pitcher like Lee, the last inning, gets an opportunity to pitch in a very relaxed atmosphere, and got the lead, and you know, bottom of the order, and doesn't throw it over. That's not going to sit well with the pitching coach or the manager or the general manager or anybody. And pitch like that, you find yourself back at the AAA level.
Wow. Well, I was just going to say that. I mean, given Cleveland's placement in the standings, they're in contention. You can't afford to have a roster spot filled by someone who's not going to throw it over the plate.
No, you just, you know, now you got to use another pitcher. You know, and that's what we talked about earlier, using so many pitchers a day or for a game, and it's just not good policy. You just can't do it. Wear people out.
Cabrera steps on the bag. A double play ends the threat, and we head to the 9th with the score 6-1. to win the final game of the series. Let's get caught up. And early on, the Indians took control of the game. Biggest hit of the game, though, a 3-run triple from Michael Brantley.
Yeah, that was the one that really broke our backs. And after that, Mr. Masterson has, just dominated the ball game. And he's been the real thorn in the side today for the Twins and the Twins hitters. And one hit, and that was a broken bat, loop to center field. Just a total domination by Justin Masterson today. You got to tip your hat to him. Pitched the ball as good as I've seen anybody pitch the baseball this summer.
And then you think of what his role is on this Cleveland team. A stopper, somebody who can get maybe a little momentum going back as the road trip continues for the Indians, and he certainly did that here today.
Yeah, you need those kind of people. They become special to you, and they stop streaks and or continue. So he's the kind of guy that he's got that kind of personality about him. He throws strikes. He gets people off balance. Not afraid to pitch inside. He's pretty close to a #1 shooter, that's for sure.
You got to have people, if you're going to contend or win a division, you got to have pitchers who want that responsibility, though, don't you?
That certainly helps and sure makes it a lot easier.
And that ball lands at the feet of Aaron Hicks. Florimon went out, and a ball landed.
Took a peek. I think at the end he took a peek at Florimon, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe our replay cameramen who do excellent job can pick this out, but I think right at the end he took a little peek, whether we can see it or not. Oh, there it is. Yeah. I don't know what the communication was there, but
a leadoff
single,
bloop single for Mike Aviles, and that'll bring up Stubbs. Ryan Presley, the pitcher.
The ball was in the air for a long time.
Yep. Ball 1. Presley, the last relief pitcher to get some work in after the All-Star break. And inside 2-0. Plenty of fastball there. You see it 93, 94, 95.
Throws the ball hard. Movement, running it in on the right-hand hitter. Got that big breaking ball. He can throw that good breaking ball. Sort of like that breaking pitch he throws. Almost old-fashioned curveball.
You tend to forget he's a Rule 5 guy, which means the Twins are kind of obligated. They are obligated at this point to keep him.
For sure. And he's earned his way. I think he's pitched very well. First year in the big leagues, making a jump all the way from AA. Is that correct?
Yes.
And holding his own here and being one of the guys in the bullpen. I like him a lot. I think he's going to have a good future.
2-2. And there's a breaking pitch in the dirt, blocked by Herman. Well, 30 games, an ERA, as you saw, just over 3, but maybe the most important number, 43 and a 2/3 innings and 1 home run allowed.
Keeping in the park always helped. Been reliable for the most part. He had a little bit of a dinged up shoulder or something or other. This is not going to reach us, Richard.
Nope. Backing out of play, though. 3-2.
But for the most part, he's been very reliable. And I will say, that Andy's tried to protect him and Guardy's tried to protect him the best they could. But he did pitch in some big spots this year already. Meaningful time of the game.
Just 24 years old. And he missed inside a single, a pop fly single, now a walk, and a little bit of a situation here for Presley to work out of, with Cabrera coming to the plate.
Nothing, a little ground ball. Ground ball here, we get double play.
It was just a year ago, just over a year ago, July 15th, he was promoted out of Class A ball to AA. So even his experience at AA, not all that extensive.
Yeah, you're right. He split the season, and Twin scouts and minor league people have done a great job of picking him out, and selecting him.
And been almost exclusively a starting pitcher until the middle of last year when he was converted to the bullpen.
And I'm not so sure he can't be a starter. I don't know if that's in the future with the plans or not, but you know, you could see where he, you know, they would try to make him a starting pitcher. He's got enough pitches.
2 quick strikes to Cabrera.
Still need that grounder.
Toward the hole, cut off by Florimon. Gets the force at second base.
Boy, excellent play. If we can see another replay on this, and you can, as an infielder now, I'm not talking about Florimon, I'm talking about Dozier. Dozier got over to second base and took the throw from Florimon like he is a first baseman, and we're going to get this one out, then get out of the way. And that's what our responsibilities are. You're not going to get a double play. Don't try to be Superman and turn a double play on that ball. It's not going to happen. So make sure we get the first out and give the pitcher the ball back, and he still has another chance here to get a double play and get out of the inning. So Dozier acting like a first baseman there and receiving the throw from Florimon. Just a perfect play.
Kipnis takes down an end, ball 1. In this 3-game series, well, we'll take a look at Dozier.
Acting like a first baseman. Catch it. Now get out of the way. Absolutely perfect. Wonderful play by Brian.
1-0. And now 1-1. In this 3-game series, there have been 2 home runs hit. Both of them to the opposite field by Jason Kipnis.
Who would have thought that was going to happen?
Well, you've seen a lot of baseball here as well,
yes,
but there aren't many opposite field home runs hit here. And Kipnis is not the biggest guy in the world. He's not Prince Fielder.
No.
Slaps a single to left. That'll drive in another run.
Walk fit us.
So a single for Kipnis and an RBI single at that, and the lead is back to 6. And Nick Swisher will bat.
Swisher's had much better at-bats today.
Kind of hard to quarrel with where that pitch was, down and away.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Hit's a hit. Safe to say Kipnis is a hot hitter, and hot hitters hit those kind of pitches at times. So it's you can tip your hat to him, get the next guy.
Ball 1. There's a ground ball. Dozier to Florimon. Florimon to Morton.
1 too late.
Indians get a run they hope they don't need in the top of the 9th. catch, one of the few highlights for Twins fans here. Nice catch by a fan. It's a 7-1 lead. Twins have had some good outfield play here today. But now a 6-run lead in a non-save situation. The Cleveland closer, Chris Perez, comes in.
He needs to get in and pitch. He hasn't pitched in the 3 days here after the break. So he needs to get an inning under his belt. Decent numbers. And he's been a pretty good closer for the Indians over the past few years. And had a few little issues. Well, not little issues, had a few issues. And looking to get back on track. The Indians are going to need him before it's all said and done.
Yeah. He was hurt. He's got some legal issues that he needs to clean up, and don't know when that will even be attempted. Dozier, Herman, and Mauer in the Twins' ninth. Dozier with the first Twins hit, a pop fly double to center in the 7th inning. In fact, it's the only Twins hit to this point. 1 strike.
Boy, I don't know if it's by design or not, Dick, but the Indians pitchers are trying to get the ball in hard on our guys today, without a doubt.
1-1.
Look at this.
Been up and in. He got 1 called, but the other 2 have missed the plate. 2-1.
I got this one, Dick.
Right at you, Tom.
Bobbing and weaving.
Tom.
What?
Tom.
What do you want? I've had enough balls hit at me. I don't need to catch that ball.
That's just the second ball that's ever come in this booth.
Is it?
Yeah.
There you go. Maybe you should autograph it and send it down there somewhere.
I'll be glad to hand it to you if you want to autograph it. Dozier takes it up and
terrible.
in.
Maybe they don't want it autographed.
Huh?
There you go. Perfect.
That was that had a little steam behind it there. I don't blame you for not reaching.
I had no intention of catching it.
This one blasted to the gap, deep to left center. It one-hops the wall, and Dozier's got his second double.
This is a real nice swing by Brian. He's ahead in the count, and he just dropped the bat head down on it and smoked it to left central. Really good swing. Got both hits so far, is that correct?
Yep, both doubles. First one a pop fly double. This one smoked pretty good.
Yes. This one you can talk about a little bit.
And now Herman. What they're saying they see in Perez is a drop off in velocity. And because of that, he's given up a few more hits and runs than in the past.
You know, and when the velocity does drop off a touch or a tad, and you have to locate the ball a little bit better. And sometimes those fellas that basically come in to pitch 1 inning, you know, they're so used to just winging it up there and relying on their velocity, they don't locate the ball as well. And now when you lose some of that velocity, things don't go as smooth. But this guy's a good pitcher. And I'm sure he's going to regain some of that and get back the velocity back up where it's been the last couple of years. But, you know, I sort of like the guy. I think he's very competitive. He tries hard. I don't know about some of that other stuff, but again, on the baseball field, he looks like he's a very competitive guy.
Mauer, the batter, got credit for an RBI in the 7th. Hit a ground ball to Kipnis. Kipnis booted it, but the run was coming home anyway. And a strike. Perez had some shoulder issues in March, and that kept him from pitching with Joe Mauer as his catcher in the WBC, and then the shoulder problems resurfaced in May. Breaking ball over, nice and pitch. Strike 2.
That's a real nice slider there, a little backdoor breaking ball. Combined with being able to throw the fastball on the inside part of the plate and throw the backdoor breaking ball to the lefties. It's the reason he's pitching the 9th inning. He's sort of a reliable guy.
And Mauer's gone on 3 pitches, 2 down. Locked at 92.
This is just an excellent fastball. I think it's right on the outside corner too, Richard. Yeah, it is. Nice pitch.
And that'll leave it up to Justin Moore. Twins 1 out away from a loss here, and if it is a Twins loss here today, that means the 3 series. Bouncer to first, wicked hop, and Reynolds stays with it to end the game in the series. All 3 series between Cleveland and Minnesota have gone 2-1 to the home team, and Tom, the Twins had a chance to get a sweep, but Scott Diamond didn't have it again today.
No, he just didn't have it. To be honest, he just didn't locate the ball very well, and the Indians looks like they got serious today against him and hit the ball extremely hard. Combine that with the way Justin Masterson pitched the baseball, that spells W for the Indians and L for us. But again, 2 out of 3, the meatloaf ain't bad.
Tom Hanneman, Tom Kelly with a meatloaf reference as the Twins take the series 2-1.
That was one of the highlights of the weekend for me, Dick. Thanks so much. Cleveland comes back to salvage the final game of this series and avoids a sweep. We'll break it all down. A masterpiece by Masterson on Twins Live next.